Hello children, today we are going to read this chapter, that is chapter 2, subject and predicate. Further, in the previous video I talked about what subject and predicate are, and along with that I also gave you some examples and tried to explain this topic, subject and predicate, and I told you they are parts of a sentence. And today we are going to see the subject, form and function. So today we are going to see that in different types of sentences, like I have taught you four types of sentences, that's four kinds of sentences: statement, I had taught you about interrogative sentence, I had taught you about imperative sentence, and I have also taught you about exclamatory sentences. So over here in this video we are going to learn how this, that is in which form, that where is this subject used when we talk about statements, when we talk about sentences that are interrogative sentences, imperative sentences and exclamatory sentences. So let's start. Statements, you can see over here the subject, form and function is mentioned, and underneath the first kind of sentence, that is statement, is mentioned over here. It is written, in a statement the subject usually comes before the predicate. Look at the sentence below. So I have already taught you what a statement is. I told you that statement is a sentence that simply says something. So over here what is being said is that when you write a statement, that is when you write a sentence that is an example of a statement, usually we get to see, that is usually means often. So often, that is most of the times, we get to see that the subject is at the where, so it's at the beginning. So over here in this example you get to see that the subject, the food is very tasty, has been given in your book, and over here in this video I have zoomed in over here and I'm trying to show you that this food is the subject. And what are we saying about the food? We are saying that the food is very tasty. So the food is the thing about which we are talking over here, and is very tasty is the thing that is being said about the subject. So the food is the subject and is very tasty is the predicate. So in this sentence, that is in this example of a statement, we get to see that in the beginning we have what? In the beginning we have the subject, and the subject is followed by what? The subject is followed by the predicate. Now over here it's written, however there are statements in which the predicate comes before the subject. Read below. So however there are exceptions where what can we see? We can see that the subject does not come in the front, instead it comes at the back. But over here in this example also, that's provided in your book, like you can see C was in great financial crisis. Over here C is the subject and was in great financial crisis is the predicate. However, you can see over there the subject predicate order in this sentence can be reversed and written as. So this pattern, that is this form in which we can place the subject in the beginning, can also be changed. We can write the subject at the end, so you can reverse it. When you reverse it, then you bring the front part at the back, and the part that's at the back to the front. Like when you reverse a vehicle, so what do? When you reverse a vehicle, you go back. So over here similarly, you need to remember that this order can be changed. That is, we saw that the subject was followed by predicate, but over here in this example the book is trying to tell us that in a statement it might be in some cases that the subject is going to follow the predicate. So in this example you see, in great financial crisis was she. So we get to see that the subject C is used at the end of the sentence. So this is something which you need to keep in mind. The word order has been reversed here to lay emphasis on the predicate. So this word order has been changed. Why? In order to lay emphasis means give importance to what? To the predicate. That's to lay emphasis on the predicate, that is to give more importance to the predicate. So in great financial crisis was who? She. So over here subject is following what? The predicate. So this is something which you need to keep in mind. So in a statement, what you need to know? You need to know that usually we get to see that the subject is at the beginning and it's followed by the predicate, but sometimes the predicate is at the front and it is followed by what? It is followed by the subject. So now let's read further. So over here we are going to see in imperative sentences where this subject and how this subject and predicate is used. So I have already told you what imperative sentences are. I have told you that imperative sentences are sentences that gives us a command, it gives us a suggestion or advice, it might be making a request. So these kind of sentences are called what? Imperative sentences. So over here in the book you can see imperative sentences may appear to have no subject because the subject in them is you, which is implied. So in this example, you can see over here provided in your book, sit down and finish your food. So uh, let's take for example, what are you doing? You are having your food, and I enter the class. But as soon as you see me, what do? You stand up. But what do I say? I say sit down and finish your food. So over here I don't tell you sit down and finish your food, but I simply say sit down and finish your food. So sit down and finish your food is an instruction or order that I am giving you. And over here the subject is not mentioned over there, but you need to know that it is hidden and the subject is you. So this is what is being said over here, that in imperative sentences it may appear, that is when you look at it, that is when you speak an imperative sentence, or when you write an imperative sentence over there, it may look like there is no subject, but you need to understand the subject is there and the subject is you, and it is implied, it is hidden, it's not written over there, it's not mentioned, it's not spoken, but however you need to remember that it's implied. It ends with a full stop. So this you already know that imperative sentences ends with full stop. Look at this example. So over here, sit down and finish your food. I just explained it. Come here. So yes, when you are doing something, some work, let's say in the class, you are copying from the board, and over there I want you to do something on the board. I want you to write an answer on the board or something like that. Then what do I say? Come here. I don't tell you come here, but I simply say come here. I look at you and I say come here. So over here, you is understood. Similarly, in your question paper, this question is usually given like write a paragraph on festivals of India. So write a paragraph on something. I tell you sometime to write a paragraph on your class or on your school. So similarly, write a paragraph on festivals of India has been written over here. So over here, you has not been written in the beginning, but you need to understand it. It's hidden and it's implied. So this you will not be written in imperative sentences. However, you need to remember that it is the subject here is you. In the fourth sentence, it said stop yelling. So when you keep screaming, what do I say? Stop yelling. Now when you are shouting in a class, or let's say you are quarreling with each other, then what can we say? We can say stop yelling, stop shouting, stop screaming. So all this, in this all the sentences, I am giving you order, but over there I don't say you stop yelling, or I don't write you stop yelling, but you need to understand that the subject is you in them, though it is not written. So this is something which you need to keep in mind. So these are imperative sentences. So all these examples that I read just now, these four examples are examples of what? Then these are examples of imperative sentences. In these sentences, the subject you is not mentioned, it is implied. So this is something which you need to keep in mind, that the subject you will not be written. The subject you will not be spoken out, but you need to remember that what is the subject in an imperative sentence? So the subject is you. So if I say a sentence like, let me give you an example of an imperative sentence like, please give me your pen. So if I look at you and say, please give me your pen, then what is the subject? Then you should not say that there is no subject, Priyanka ma'am, but you should understand that ma'am is referring to me. So over here in this context, I am speaking to you. So you is the what? Subject over here, though it will not be said by me, though it will not be written down, still you need to remember, if I say please give me your pen, or please help me do this work, or anything of that kind, any sentence that is an imperative sentence, then you need to remember that the subject is you. So I hope you are understanding. So we are going to stop here for today. In the next video, we are going to deal with this exclamatory sentences and interrogative sentences, and see in which order, that is in which place we find the subject and predicate. Thank you.